Good evening, everybody. Back in the shop, and I screwed up big time. I forgot to order my leather, so I'm out of leather. I do not have any Herman Oak in my shop. This is all I have left. This little scrap piece and some other scrap. So I figured, since I have some downtime, let's make a front pocket wallet. I made this pattern myself. I'll give you the measurements here in a second, but let's go ahead and jump in the video and get started. Here are the two patterns if you want to make it yourself. I just made mine out of paper, but here's the top tooled part. I make this out of 6 to 7 ounce. And then here's the backing, 3x8. And I use 5 ounce chap leather because I do not throw any cuts in these at all. You can see this one here. I just slap it straight down and sew it. So when you bend it and pull it out, it doesn't stretch, or I mean it does stretch per se. You don't have to like cut the billet or whatever you want to call it. It's just so much easier this way. If you're using veg tan, you have to go through and do that, but this is just the way that I do it myself. So go ahead and cut these out and we'll go to the next step.
Oh, 1 mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but
Alright, two things I forgot to mention. First off, you're going to need a money clip. Of course, I just buy these spring ones from Tandy Leather. And two, whenever you make this back pattern, I forgot to mention, the reason why I made it a 1/4 inch bigger is, first off, I want my backing to be wider than my actual piece. But also so that way you can lay these out. So that way you can measure it, and that's the same exact pattern as this, just all centered up. And you can lay those out. I don't have a specific measurement, I just make sure it doesn't get in the way of the stitch line. So then all you gotta do, take your wing dividers, measure up to an 1/8 inch, and you can scribe that on your backing. So whenever you go to glue this in place, you can see that line, you can glue it down and it all lines up perfectly. So sorry I forgot to mention that. Better go ahead and say that. But at this point now, I'm going to go ahead, measure this up. I'm going to punch those out, cut that, do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to start drawing this up, tooling it, and all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and lay this out for tooling. I'm just going to go ahead and throw about a 1/4 inch border on there. Go all the way around. Just very lightly, just so I can see it. I don't usually carve borders, but I just have there just so my tooling doesn't go past that point. I'm going to go ahead and find the center at 7 3/4. So correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am, but yeah, it should be 3 5/8. Just going to measure that real quick. Draw a line down there. And then, let me sharpen this pencil up just a little bit. I am going to take our calipers and I am going to measure a little bit, roughly around 3/4 of an inch. Well, actually, no. Not 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna go 3/8. 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to just write it down each side of that line. And if I did that right, it should be 3/4 of an inch. Yes. Alright, I'm going to just slap them lines down real quick. The reason I do this is because you don't want to sew too close, because if you do, this will not be able to fit down in there. So there we have it. Got that 1/4 inch border going around, got a 3/4 inch center. So we're going to tool on this side and we're going to tool on that side. I'm probably going to do the same thing as I always do. I'm going to do that cool little checker pattern and floral on this side. So let's go ahead and draw this up, tool it up, paint it, dye it, antique it, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to include it Maybe in the future, if you want me to, I'll throw some pattern packs out here for this. Since it is my pattern that I made up, I can make it to fit my own. Let me know if you're interested in that pattern pack. I will definitely do some if you're interested in it. But I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, do the whole 9 yards, and we're going to come back after this is all pulled up and do this construction part of it. This turned out pretty sweet. I do like how it looks. Well, I watered down some turquoise Angelus paint, and I think it looks spectacular. So now what I'm gonna do, I said that that border, or I mean on the pattern itself, this should sit in an 1/8 on each side. So I have this set on an 1/8 inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of get a nice scribe all the way around that I can see pretty well. And I'm going to use this as a guideline. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put glue just on the edges on this side and this side. Okay, let's go ahead and lay this over the top. Line up our marks. Make sure they line up going all the way down. And beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead over here. Well, actually, I'll just do this right here. It's gonna be a little loud, but I'll just throw it right underneath it. Kind of set these stitches down. You can also use double-sided tape if you want, but I just like using glue. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry out for a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and just sew these in. Let's go ahead, trim our excess off.
She calls me day and night. I'm sorry, girl, you just don't make me feel right. I never meant to make you cry, you were right. Just leave me be, I'm not gonna put up a fight.
All right, we're on our last last step. What I'm gonna do now, I'm going to open this up with a stitching fid, kind of break that glue up just in that top part, ream it out. We're going to take the money clip itself, pop it open, slide her down in, and there you go. You'll have to kind of break it in. After a time, it does end up just sitting there flat like that, but it just needs broken in. But that's it. You can go through, you could break this up a little bit. That glue to help fit them cards down in there. Sit there and slide a card down, just like that. I do have it to where it just fits like that on both sides. Let me see if this one side goes inside. I might have to break it loose a little bit first. Yeah, but either way, just like that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe learned something from it. Like I said, I just threw my pattern there just so you can just follow along. I said I do prefer the chap leather just for the fact that you don't have to cut those indents or whatever they're called in there. You can just keep it like that. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you all later.